Okay, Megavannan, and welcome to, I guess, a quick little pre-review or review thus far of Ms. Marvel, the Disney Plus show. Um, this show is, to me, I find it to be the weakest of the shows thus far. Um, I know there's like a lot of hate for Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and even though I still like that one, it was probably the weakest of the other ones possibly. But I have a soft spot for anything Captain America. I mean Captain America, Falcon, and Winter Soldier. I mean those three. I love those guys. But anyways, back back to Ms. Marvel. First of all, I want to preface that I am not a fan of how they changed Kamala Khan's powers, Ms. Marvel. I like that she had the elasticity power, elastic power, whatever. Like Mr. Fantastic. I know that they say the Fantastic Four movie is coming. I don't know what to believe anymore, with the rumors and whatever, but I'm sure it is going to be coming. Uh, you already have that one guy in Multiverse of Madness who kind of introduced us to Mr. Fantastic for a brief while. So he's coming, and they say, well, we can't have. They changed their powers because we can't have two people with the exact same powers. Well, I think you can. Look at Captain America. Look at Winter Soldiers. Very, very similar powers. So there's no excuse for that. Doctor Strange and, even though not exactly the same powers, but now Scarlet Witch with her changed powers, they both do magic. You can have two elastic people, and I think it would have made a cool kind of meeting if the two would have met. But anyways, they decided to change it, and it's now this fucking bracelet that gives her powers. And because of that, they introduced this jinn element. And I know the jinn from things like the Wishmaster, or there's other lore I've heard them in. The supernatural, of course, but even further back than those. But the earliest I can remember where it kind of made it somewhat mainstream for the time in the 90s was late 90s was the Wishmaster series. You have the jinn, the evil genies. You bring that into this. Now you add this sort of I don't know, this supernatural religious aspect to it that I think is dumb. They shouldn't have done that, but they should have just kept their powers the way it was. Something genetically happened to her and she can stretch. So there's no holy relics or anything like that, and they don't have to integrate that into the story. Two, I think they put too much importance on the mundane of her life. It's fine that they show a bit of it. They do that with Stargirl, but you're only getting snippets, and then it's off to, where the action is, where she's out. When I say the action, I don't mean literally, fighting and stuff like that, but I meant like what's important, relevant to the story, not like, fixing her hair in front of the mirror or, stupid shit like that. This is literally the mundane, doing dorky, nerdy things. That's fine. That's fine if I'm watching something like The Gamers Darkness Rising, or The Guild, or something like that, where that's the premise of the show, and we're watching, some D&D nerds, but this is not this, you know. So, we see her hanging out with her friends. This is kind of like the same, even though I still like the movies because it's at least still better, but like with the Spider-Man, the new Spider-Man films, the Tom Holland ones, the Spider-Man home films, Homecoming, Far From Home, No Way Home. I thought No Way Home was great. See, that there's an example of putting a good balance. That one was actually very well done, I thought. Um, and I even liked Far From Home, the whole Mysterio thing. But the parts I'm not fond of in that is when how goofy that the friends act around each other. I forgot his name, but the kind of big Filipino guy, the friend, the Asian, I think it's Filipino. Oh, yeah, it's Filipino, right? And then the Mary Jane, and then you got the Flash, and it's if they hover on them for too long, they linger on them too long, it would really begin to get annoying. And there's some moments where it does feel like that. Their interactions are just kind of, they're they can be funny, but I mean, I can't explain it. It's done in this trendy new like, I don't want to say woke. I don't want to throw that word around, and I don't like using that, because using that word woke is kind of like that kind of word itself that I don't like, in this new way of living and thinking. I want to try to stay away from that. But anyways, I'm going astray. Getting back to this, those elements that I dislike in the Spider-Man Home films, it's 85% of that in here. And then they take it a step further, where I know she has her imaginings, but it's too much. It's overdose on that, where there's writing being written in thin air, or like that little cartoon stick drawings are like moving, in the scene, and it's blended. It's pretty dumb. It's not like I think the film is called Miss Potter, starring Renee Zellweger and Ewan McGregor. Great film about the children's book artist, writer and artist, Miss Potter. And she has her imaginings. That's the whole. It's very cute. She's imagining bunnies. That's the premise of the film. This is not that. This is a superhero flick. And when you're focusing too much on the goings on in her life, to me it gets boring. And number two, it's the direction of how they do it with the dialogue. It's the types of interaction too. So it's double bad, where it's focusing on the mundane and stupid, and then what we do see of that is stupid interaction. So I don't like that. Now we get to the villains, and they're not that great, but it's okay. They're there. They serve as a purpose to whatever, I guess, because they brought the whole Jin thing, so they kind of fucked that up. The fights. Now let's get to where the actual. It's kind of sad, I guess, where what really makes it feel like a superhero film, and what aside from the whole going to AvengerCon and her love for Captain Marvel, that aside, the thing that kind of gels it together with the other Marvel stuff, is very sad, is when she's doing her superheroics, not so much with the character herself, when it's outside of those, out of the, you can tell it's a Marvel thing when her powers come in full display, and then and those action scenes to me are okay. To be quite honest, that is the saving grace of this show, and those fight scenes are really not all that great, but because it's standing next to everything else about the show, it elevates that. Now, if the story and is acting the right word, or I'll say the acting, because it's more of like the lines they were given and how they were, the direction, how they were directed to act. If they were much better than what we got, and great story and everything, and even if they kept it with the same powers that she should have, and not that shit, but kept the fighting and the action and choreography the way it is, I know it would change a little bit, because she didn't have. Let's just keep. What if they kept the powers the same, with the like Green Lantern type, energy shit, whatever, not the elasticity thing. But if everything else was great, and we kept the fighting the same, then the fighting and choreography would not look so good, But because it is what it is, when the fights do come on and the action scenes, it is a breath of fresh air. It's not that great to begin with, anyways. I think IGN is being paid off somehow. I can't believe it. Some of the I love watching IGN, but there are some things where I don't agree, or I do agree more or less. You know, if they give something a 6 or a 7, okay, I'd give it maybe about 7 or an 8 or 7.5. To me, that's not far off. You know, if they give something a 7, I give it an 8, 8.25. You know, it's not too far off. I do miss the old days with Greg Kasavin, even though he's with GameSpot and he reviews games, nothing to do with movies, or you know Jessica Chobot and you know all those greats. You know, you had people from X-Play, you know, Adam Sessler and Morgan Webb and all them. You know, it was great seeing that. You know, to me those reviews with heart. But IGN is still okay, I guess. But I feel as if they're getting they're being paid off. They've been giving these episodes 8, 8, 8. I gotta see what they give this one right here, with this fucking scene right here. And they're giving Kenobi like 6 or 7. I personally feel, and let's be honest, Kenobi is just it's better choreography. We know the characters. What's there to complain? People are complaining about it because maybe you're hearing the expert reviewers complain something. So then you can see it in the stupid fucking comments when people put clips. And I'm talking about, these are the kind of people that when they put like Austin Butler interviews, oh, so cute. People who say he's fake. He spent 2 years imitating the accent of Elvis, and buddy, he's faking it. He's trying to be a Johnny Depp, and he's failing miserably. He's trying to put on this thing that this is his character. It's him now. You look at his older interviews, he's not the same. I don't give a fuck. He had ample time to normalize again. You know, you're not gonna. It sticks with you. What are you, some kind of fucking eccentric? Now, Johnny Depp, he's an eccentric. Yes, that guy. He's a little weird. You know, but he's cool, and he has clout. He has a seniority type of thing, and it's not just always about seniority. It's just this guy's for real weird. People like Austin Butler and this new phase of people, they're fake, and I don't buy that. You know, they're not like the Johnny Depps, the Michelle Pfeiffers, the Jack Nicholsons. You know. Anyways, you know, now you know, you take a look at an old Phoebe Kate interview, and that's a real interview. People like Carson, people like old Letterman. You know what I mean, when interview, you know, those old days. You know, and people calling Regis like, oh, that guy's a pedo just because he asked for a kiss from a young Christina Ricci in, you know, her Addams Family. It's just, people don't get it nowadays. Back in those days, you know, the old, you know, hey kid, you know, like that. Starting in the 50s and 60s, even, and in the 80s, it Regis comes from those old, you know, old Sammy Davis Jr. Rat Pack days where, you know, there's, oh, hey, cutie pie, that kind of thing. It's an innocent little, oh, you're adorable type of thing. You know, the Filipinos and like usually like the Asian people, they understand this. You know, Filipino, oh, guapo, you know, it's just how it is. But people, all of a sudden, this is what I'm talking about. Everyone, you cough. What did you say about gays? I didn't say anything. I just go, I'm gonna sue you for what you just said about transgender. Oh, I didn't say shit. You see, everyone's become so soft. And so, you know, anyways, getting back to this, I understand that there's the whole inclusion thing now, and it's great. I love seeing, you know, everything's branching out. You know, we have Asian superheroes now. We have Indian superheroes. We had that with the Indian guy in the Eternals. I forgot his name. He's like a comic guy. And he was also in Star Wars Kenobi, and I think that guy's cool. I like that guy. He's great. So, and you know, I was really looking forward to seeing, you know, Kamala Khan. You know, she's an Indian, American, not American, Indian. You know, born in America, kind of. But the whole point is Indian superhero. You know, of Indian heritage. Great stuff. But they fucked it up. When you have, they're like Pakistani, I'm sorry, Indian Pakistani, whatever. So, Pakistani, then, okay, they're in this episode, they're in Pakistan. And when they get together, you have like the grandmother, you have the mother of Kamala. When they're speaking to each other, they're speaking in English, and it irritates the fuck out of me. They do the same shit with like Asian people when the Asians and I know because I'm around Filipinos and I'm half Filipino, half Thai. And when you're around Thais and Filipinos, they ain't speaking English, my friend. They're speaking fucking their language their native tongue, and you're having them speak this. I'm like, don't do it for our benefit. I'd rather read this. I'm normally, I don't mind subtitles, but say if it's an all French film, all Russian film, I will watch it in English first, maybe a couple times to understand it better, so I can, understand it, and then any other subsequent viewings, I will view it in a native tongue, with the subtitles. But now I have a more, it's how my mind, I can understand it better, but. When you have like the Asian people and this, for example, Indians, Pakistanis, speaking, they're in their country and they're speaking like there's a scene. You see them how they communicate. It's like nails on chalkboard to me. It irritates the fuck out of me, and I hate that. And like I said, to do that if it's like a Filipino film, and like Filipinos or Chinese people in the thing and in the movie, and they're speaking English, let them speak Chinese, Mandarin, or let them speak Cantonese or whatever their native language is. Don't change it on our account, please, for the love of God. It irritates me. But they've been giving this show like an 8, an 8, an 8, and Kenobi's like a 7. I really think. This, like I said, it's not a shit show, but it's not an 8, nowhere near it. Maybe at best like a 7, You have this girl, I don't know her name, I forgot now, Erman Villani or something, who's Ms. Marvel. This is her first role, fresh out of high school, and it shows. Her delivery of comedy, and pretty much almost everyone, is very it's like clockwork. It's very jagged. It's very like what did he call it, by the numbers, or it's very formulaic. It's not. It doesn't come off smooth and natural. It's like when she's hitting her punchline, it's that kind of, it's opposite, but it's not funny. You have stupid shit like this.
Driving on the opposite side of the road on stick.
And then sorry, it's just dumb. I don't want this to. And she drives off.
Sorry.
It's not funny. And then, oh yeah, here. She crashes. And what is this dumb face? That's the face when she crashes into that fucking thing, or into a guy. Yeah, look. She hits that dude who goes. It's not good. It's not good. It's not good. It's meant to be like a comedic moment, and it failed. So like I said, the action is the thing that I want to say kind of saves it, but not really. It's still, the show is still what you see, and it's not. I wish they would just kind of see like how they did it with Stargirl. It shows some interaction with. They're trying to force interactions between people to. The whole thing is a filler. People complain about filler episodes. This whole thing has been a filler, one big filler. Now if you seen Kenobi, come on, that fight between. The whole thing was good. I thought good to very good. The whole show, I thought it was good to very good. And then some of the fight scenes were more or less good. And then the best one being, like I get it now how Obi-Wan was afraid and running away from Vader. I get that. And I thought like, oh, he sucks now as a fighter. And then he kind of gets back into it, when he's fighting those stormtroopers, and that was pretty cool. But then he, fights Vader at the end again, and that I thought that was great. It was great fight sequence. We have history with these characters. We know them well. Dialogue was fine at the beginning. Leia Organa, little kid Leia Organa, was annoying me and irritating me when they first met, but she easily quickly grew on me, and I get her now. I get it. Ms. Marvel I don't get. She needs to. What happened to the Ms. Marvel that I know and love from Disney XD, and then when she was stretchy and that kind of dialogue, I understand there's humor and Spider-Man, same thing with that humor. I'm not saying get rid of the humor like in the Spider-Man home films. They inject too much of it, but as Spider-Man, he makes those wisecracks, kind of like Deadpool. Let's relegate that and put the majority of those kind of jokes when he's in character as Spider-Man, that where it belongs, and not as much. When he's Peter Parker, he's living a serious life, and it's his life isn't all that great. It's kind of hurtful at times. He lost his uncle and stuff, but they're going in this weird Juno direction. Juno's a great film, that's great, but Juno. I'm trying to think of other coming of age films like Juno. I just can't think of any right now. Fault in Our Stars, I guess, but not really that. Wasn't that like they had cancer or something like that? But something along the lines of like a Juno comedy, like an Ellen Page type, coming of age type flick that they've been making like since mid 2000s, early mid 2000s even, and it's going that route. They're injecting too much of that, but not take it down a notch, but amplified even more for the worse. So I feel that Ms. Marvel, to me, what I've seen so far, I'm not going to break down each individual episode because they're all pretty much the same to me. I would give Ms. Marvel 5 is being mediocre, right? Is not good, not bad. Keep that in mind. So if something gets a 5, don't, oh, it sucks. No, it's 5. It's a 5.5. He goes, oh, then it sucks. No, it doesn't suck. It's, if I give something like a 4.5, that sucks. But a 5, but I'm not even giving it that. So you got to keep that in mind. I'm going to give this one, I'm going to say like a 6.75 out of 10. A 6.75. A 6, a straight up 6 is already okay. A 7 is good. You see what I'm saying? Okay, it's okay. That movie was okay. How was that show? Did it suck? No, it was okay. Is it worth watching? I would say yeah, So okay is okay. That's if it got a 6. This is the high end of that 6. I'd say a 6 and a quarter is just, it's okay. Yeah, how does that taste? Oh, it's okay. Yeah, it could be better, but it's okay. That's 6 and a quarter. 6.5 is a little bit better, but still okay. This is a 6.75, almost a 7. So that's okay. And I'm not even gonna say I'm being kind. That's to me, that's just the truth of it. They need to. This is the 4th episode. There's 2 more episodes to go. Please, get better. Please. I don't think they will. I think they fucked that up. I look at some of these directors, and I mean, I understand because it's a Pakistani Indian character and everything, so they want to try to get Pakistani Indian people to direct it. But maybe they shouldn't. Maybe they should get someone who actually maybe excels at directing this type of superhero shit. You see what I mean? And same goes for the writers. I don't know, they fucked up somewhere. Anyways, yeah, that's it. 6.75 out of 10.